grandmother is Josefina as well. 31. I sat in my chair and looked upon myself, thinking, what was I doing? 30. I met someone that was strange enough to give me an answer. The answer wasn't answered by myself. 29. I was in the moment of despair. The despair also felt so great because it only made me worry more about where I stood between myself. 28, I felt even worse. I was in a relationship that wasn't working, and what did I do? I decided to make my life a little bit more better. What does better mean? 27. I struggle between myself. It was the first time that I looked into the mirror and said, fuck no, I am better than this. And guess what I did? I cheated. But cheating comes with being honest, because without learning from beyond 26, when I was 26, I stood in front of myself and I asked, what am I doing? Who I am? Where am I going? What am I doing? Everything was confusing. I stood in front of my chair. Everything became so powerful, but nothing was working. At 25, I was sitting in Williamsburg, where all my friends had been just greeted me from the beginning. I had just moved to New York a year before. 24. I was living with my friend Mickey Pellerano, who is the greatest person in the world. Invited me to New York. We all decided that we could do this together, and in front of us it was this. A wondering welcome into a new world. 23. Where do you stand? I had just been living in San Francisco. The last days of my life in San Francisco had been greeted by a stare full of shit. Human shit that actually came from reality. How do you wash it off? You use a hose. The hose spreads the shit farther into beyond. 22. Where are you when you're 22? I learned about diamonds, I learned about gold, I also learned about Italian and French antiques. My woman's name was Velmood. She was my friend. She gave me a hand and said, welcome into my world. I said, hi, my name is Raul. And she said, hi, my name is Velmood. 21. I'm circling in circles. I'm in San Diego. I don't know where I'm going. Everything seems a little bit strange. So I choose to go to San Francisco. 20. My band's name was Mortiferators. We were shit eaters from the beginning of the end. And we started out as like talking about this, and then we decided that everything could be. What is renunciation? Give up to yourself. Always remember that things do come and go, but never hold on to grief, because if you renunciate from the beginning, then you will always remember that things could be better after you give up the worst of the best. 19. I had just graduated from high school. I felt so lonely. I had pimples all over my face. Everything seems to be so worse in my life. My mother was just so afraid of me. And I was so afraid of my mom. I didn't have a dad. I had 2 brothers. And I said to my mom, listen, I am a freak. And she said, you're not a freak. And I said, listen, you're the freak. And she said, I know I am. At 17, I walked in front of my fucking most worst person I've ever met in my life. And he said, do you want a slap on your face? And I said, I dare you to come close to me. He threw a Skittle at my face. As soon as he threw the Skittle, I threw back a trash can. The next day, there was a fight. 16, I was so afraid of myself, I actually told my mom, I want to kill myself. I walked into the bathroom with a pair of scissors around my neck, and I almost shoved them in my face. But I was actually looking in front of a mirror, which saved my life because the mirror only reflected the image that I see of today. But that mirror isn't real because the mirror that I actually look for is not a mirror that looks like a mirror. So today, the mirror that I look to doesn't exist. At 15, we were walking around, I was doing things so weird, and I just thought, I'm in Scripps Ranch High. I'm so weird and crazy. Or am I crazy? I met one of my best friends. Her name is Stephanie Lopez. We carried lunch boxes. Both of our lunch boxes had pictures of a movie that you might have seen. It was called Velvet Goldmine, and it brought back this whole idea of beauty through another friend that was also open to me, and I was open to her. At 14, I didn't know what I was doing. I actually sat down by myself and was always thinking, the only person that I have next to me is my little brother named Adrian, who sat by me, by my side. At 13, we were still the same person. At 12, we couldn't hang out with each other because the school said we weren't allowed. But it was okay because we always talked about it in the morning. And at the end of the day, we were still together. At 11, I was learning how to speak English, and English was one of my first other spoken words that I could imagine. I would get paid 10 cents for every new word that I would learn from the dictionary. So 10 cents actually meant a lot. 10 cents could mean that if you learn enough words, you could get $1. But it wasn't about the money, it was the knowledge that it would give you. 10 cents would give you a whole new language. And that was the most important thing that I learned from this person that I won't say their name. At 10, I was completely confused about what had happened. We had just landed in the United States. I lived in a big house, and I was feeling so confused about life. At 9, I got on a plane. They said, Raul, you're going to America. And I said, what are you talking about? I got on a plane. I came across illegally. I walked across the border, and I said, I don't know where this lands me to. I wasn't saying those same words, but I'm saying them now. At 8 years old, I wish my mom had been there, but she was looking for a better life for us. My mom decided that she needed to go beyond what she had given us. At 7 years old, we were completely distraught. Everything was breaking down. Things were so hard, but hard is always good, I guess. I don't know. I'm always thinking about that. At 6, things had broken into the reality of what life could be. I'm a 6-year-old child. It's the most intense part of my life. How do you deal with life? Do you know what happens? At 5, everything becomes so quiet. You don't want to talk about what happens at that year. But I will tell you, what happens is you are vulnerable. And there is people in front of you. It doesn't matter whether you're 5 or 25, but there's still some people that will take advantage and make it happen. And when they take advantage, you don't want that taking advantage to last longer than a couple of years, because you learn from experiences. At 4, we were so young. My mom worked so hard. She was always there for us. Gave us a bed at 2 and 3. I woke up from a nightmare and I asked my mom, did this really happen? Was it real? And she said yes. And I still remember sitting on a high chair in front of a giant TV screen, and the last words that my dad could ever say was, "Would you like me to make you a quesadilla?" And it sounds a little bit weird, but I do remember that. At 2, my dad died because he was in a car, hit in front with his friends, and it was so intense that I still remember it and feel it, because I have a mother who has given me life, and she said, "I am not just your mom, I am your dad." At 1, I don't really remember what happened when I was 1. I was probably held, and I do remember one thing. She had a paper mache sculpture of a tiger. Before that, I was just flying in the air, and you know what happened? My mom actually said she kept trying to have a daughter, and her daughter never came. But I told her, "I'm your daughter."